How many times have you sat at the table with a bowl of porridge, contemplating its health benefits and how it will strengthen and energize you? And then suddenly you notice that after an hour, drowsiness overwhelms you and a heaviness arises in your body. Blood pressure spikes, blood sugar rises, and you wonder why this is happening. Shouldn't porridge be healing rather than causing discomfort? We older folks are used to relying on simple things. In Soviet times, we were taught from childhood that porridge was a symbol of health and a primary source of nutrition. But the truth is that after 60, our body starts to function differently. And the porridge that once gave us strength can now take it away. I have friends who have eaten the same porridge every morning for years, convinced of its benefits. But soon they began to notice extra pounds, weakness and drowsiness, fluctuating pressure, and joint pain. They wondered, could it really be the porridge? It seemed impossible, but alas, it was possible. Some cereals become enemies to the body after 60 years, overloading the pancreas, raising sugar levels, and causing inflammation. If we continue to consume them, we slowly undermine our health without noticing. However, there are other grains that can become real medicine. They cleanse the vessels, nourish the brain, support gut health, provide energy, and contribute to longevity. Do you want to know which cereals to immediately exclude from your diet and which to add instead? Watch this video to the end, as it contains information that may surprise you and change your morning habits starting tomorrow. We grew up believing that any cereal is healthy. We were taught this in school, in pioneer camps, and even in the army. Porridge is strength. It is health. For decades, we trusted this simple truth. But with age, our bodies begin to function differently. After 60 years, metabolism slows down, affecting the intestines, pancreas, and blood vessels. What was once easily absorbed and energizing can now cause drowsiness, sudden spikes in sugar, heaviness in the stomach, and even inflammation. I know a woman who is 70 years old and has eaten semolina porridge her whole life. She believed it was the lightest and healthiest food for her age. But over time, she gained excess weight, her blood sugar levels rose above normal, and her strength began to wane. When the doctor explained to her that semolina porridge overloads her body with fast carbohydrates, she was in complete shock. But we were taught that it is healthy. And here's the thing. Not every porridge is a friend to our body. Some grains can strengthen vessels, provide fiber and energy, while others act like sweet bread, causing sugar spikes, storing fat, and depriving us of vitality. Therefore, it is crucial to consciously choose porridge after 60. This is not just a childhood habit, but an important step towards health. In the following parts, I will talk about 4 cereals to eliminate from your diet, and 4 that should remain on your table every day. Let's start with semolina porridge, which many of us grew up on. In childhood, it was prepared in kindergartens, schools, and homes, considered the lightest and most nutritious. White, tender, and slightly sweet, semolina porridge seemed the perfect source of energy that doesn't overload the body. However, after 60 years, this porridge loses its beneficial properties. The reason lies in its almost complete lack of fiber, making it useless for the intestines. However, semolina contains a huge amount of quick carbohydrates, leading to a sharp spike in blood sugar levels and significant strain on the pancreas. In the end, this leads to a feeling of weakness and drowsiness. I remember a man who was 68 years old. He had eaten semolina porridge for breakfast his entire life, believing it to be a light and gentle dish for the stomach. But after a few years, he noticed that he felt sleepy after breakfast, lacked energy, and had begun to gain weight. After a blood test, it turned out his sugar level was above normal. The doctor told him directly, "The problem is your habit. Semolina acts like sweet bread. It quickly fills you up, but it doesn't bring any real benefit to the body." This is the main danger. A person is convinced they are doing something beneficial, while in reality, they are slowly harming their health. This is especially dangerous for those suffering from prediabetes, excess weight, or cardiovascular diseases. Semolina porridge raises glucose and cholesterol levels, bringing us closer to the diseases we especially fear in old age. Yes, its taste is familiar from childhood and evokes pleasant memories. But the truth is this. After 60, refined grains cease to be our body's friend. If we want to maintain strength and health, we must honestly acknowledge this and replace them with healthier grains. Now about white rice. This product seems simple and familiar. We prepare it for milk porridge, serve it as a side dish with meat or fish. Many elderly people believe that rice is light food that is easily digested. There is some truth to this, but only for young bodies. After 60, white rice loses its beneficial qualities. It contains almost no fiber, vitamins, or minerals, as all value is removed during processing. In the end, what remains on the plate is mostly starch, which is a fast carbohydrate. What does this mean in practice? At first you eat rice and feel full, but after an hour, your blood sugar spikes sharply, the pancreas is overloaded, and your strength begins to fade. Instead of energy, drowsiness, and heaviness come. I remember a woman. She was 70 years old. She loved to make milk rice porridge and considered it the perfect breakfast. But then she complained, "After rice, I can't keep my eyes open, I'm just drawn to sleep, and I feel broken all day." When we replaced white rice with buckwheat and oatmeal, she remarked in surprise, "I no longer feel exhausted after eating." White rice is a deceptive porridge for the elderly. It seems light but acts like white bread or sugar. It fills you up quickly but offers no nutrients. This is especially dangerous for people with diabetes, excess weight, or high blood pressure. Therefore, if you love rice, it's better to choose brown, red, or wild rice. They retain fiber and vitamins, providing real benefits to the body. White rice is better to exclude from the diet or consume very rarely to avoid harming the body. Part 3. Pearl barley. Pearl porridge evokes associations with soldiers' food or army canteens for many. In Soviet times, it was considered an affordable and nutritious grain that provides strength. We ate it in camps and cafeterias, and some even prepared it at home. However, for elderly people, pearl barley is not always beneficial. What is its deceit? The fact is that pearl barley is processed barley. If not cooked properly, it remains quite tough and heavy for the stomach. People over 60 often experience reduced gastric juice and enzyme production. Food that was once easily digested can now cause heaviness, bloating, and even pain. I remember my neighbor, Petr Ivanovich, who was 75. He loved simple dishes and often said that nothing was better than a plate of pearl barley, cheap and filling. But after every meal, he complained of heaviness in his stomach, as if a stone lay inside him, and he couldn't move properly all day. In the end, the doctor advised him to give up pearl barley and switch to lighter grains, and after a month he felt relief. Of course, it cannot be claimed that pearl barley is completely harmful. It contains B vitamins and some fiber. However, for the body of an elderly person, it is too heavy. If the intestines are already weakened, if there is gastritis or colitis, pearl barley will not be beneficial and will only create additional strain. Therefore, I always recommend choosing crushed barley or barley groats if there is a desire. It is softer, easier to digest, and retains vitamins. However, classic pearl barley should be limited or excluded from the diet after 60 to avoid digestive issues. Part 4. Corn porridge. It looks very appetizing. Golden, sunny, with butter or milk. Many people over 60 love it for its soft taste and apparent lightness. It reminds of southern lands and simple village breakfasts. But in reality, this porridge is not so harmless for the elderly body. Cornmeal contains little fiber and vitamins. Its main component is starch, which quickly turns into glucose, leading to sharp spikes in blood sugar for older adults, putting strain on the pancreas and blood vessels. This is especially dangerous for those who already suffer from diabetes or are prone to it. I remember the story of a man who was 71. He said, "I love corn porridge. It's sweet and easily digestible." But after every breakfast, he felt weakness. His legs became wobbly, drowsiness set in, and even dizziness occurred. When we checked his blood sugar level, it turned out that the corn porridge was causing sharp spikes. Moreover, corn porridge has another characteristic. It hardly provides a feeling of fullness. It seems that you have eaten a plate, but after a couple of hours, you want to eat again. For an elderly person's body, there is a risk of gaining excess weight and a constant feeling of hunger. Yes, cornmeal is attractive, fragrant, and familiar to us from childhood. However, when it comes to health after 60, it has very little benefit. Therefore, it's worth considering other grains that truly provide energy and nourishment to cells, rather than just empty calories. Remember, our goal is not only to be satiated, but also to support the body. Unfortunately, corn porridge cannot handle this task. Let's move on to the second part. Buckwheat, the true queen among porridges, especially for older people. It's no wonder that in Russia it has always been called the second bread. The value of buckwheat becomes especially clear after 60, when the body needs simple yet powerful sources of energy and protection. Buckwheat is rich in fiber, which promotes gentle, and regular bowel function. It contains iron essential for blood, magnesium that supports heart and vessel health, and B vitamins important for the nervous system. Unlike semolina or white rice, buckwheat does not cause sharp spikes in blood sugar, creating a feeling of satiety and lightness. I remember a woman who was 72 years old. She complained of fluctuating blood pressure and constant fatigue. When we replaced her usual rice and semolina with buckwheat in the mornings, a month later she said, "Doctor, I feel different. I have a lightness, and my blood pressure has become more stable." She even started taking evening walks again, something she hadn't done in a long time. Buckwheat acts like a little healer, strengthening blood vessels, helping to control sugar and cholesterol levels, and providing energy for movement. Another plus is that it can be prepared in various ways, with milk, as a crumbly porridge, or as a casserole. It always remains useful. For an elderly person, buckwheat is not just food, but a daily care for the heart, blood vessels, and intestines. Consuming it at least 3 to 4 times a week can lead to a real difference in well-being. That's why I always advise, if you're unsure which porridge to choose, start with buckwheat. It's the most reliable and simple support for your health after 60. Now let's move on to oatmeal. For many of us, it is associated with childhood, English films, or hospital breakfasts. However, true oatmeal consists of whole grains, slowly cooked, rather than quick packets that are ready in 3 minutes. It is one of the best porridges for older people. Its main virtue lies in gently enveloping the stomach and intestines, aiding digestion and reducing irritation of the mucosa. For those suffering from gastritis, heartburn, or having a weak stomach, oatmeal becomes a true salvation, acting as a shield, protecting the body from within. In addition, oatmeal is rich in soluble fiber known as beta-glucans. They lower bad cholesterol levels, support blood vessels, and the heart. For people over 60, this is especially important, as blood vessels become vulnerable. I remember a man who was 80 years old who started each day with oatmeal, but not with instant flakes, rather with whole grains cooked in water with added berries. He said, "Oatmeal soothes my stomach and gives me strength for the whole day." He really had no issues with weight, his blood pressure remained stable, and he had enough energy even for 2-hour walks. However, a common mistake lies in choosing oatmeal that contains sugar and flavorings. They lose their value and turn into quick carbohydrates, like semolina. Therefore, when it comes to oatmeal, one should choose only the real kind that needs to be cooked for 10 to 15 minutes. You can add berries, nuts, or a bit of honey to such porridge. Such a breakfast is not only tasty but also provides a smooth energy level without sugar spikes, improving mood and brain function. That's why I call oatmeal a morning medicine. It brings lightness to the stomach, protects the heart, and helps one spend the day in harmony with oneself. For people over 60 years old, this is especially valuable support. As for barley groats, many confuse it with pearl barley, but these are completely different products. Pearl barley is whole grain barley that is polished and has a hard structure. It is difficult to digest, especially for elderly people. Unlike her, barley groats are crushed barley that benefits the body after 60. Barley groats contain a lot of fiber that gently stimulates intestinal function. It does not cause sharp spikes in sugar, unlike semolina or white rice. Carbohydrates from barley porridge are absorbed slowly, providing calm and sustained energy. Additionally, barley porridge is rich in B vitamins that support the nervous system and brain, which is especially important for the elderly, as it reduces anxiety and improves sleep quality. I remember a 76-year-old woman who constantly complained of quick fatigue after meals as if her batteries were running out. When we replaced her usual white rice with barley porridge twice a week, she noticed, "Doctor, I no longer have that heavy fatigue. I can walk for an hour without feeling sleepy." Another important aspect is that barley groats help lower cholesterol levels and improve the elasticity of blood vessels. This is a huge plus for those suffering from hypertension or heart problems. It can be prepared easily by boiling in water with a little oil or stewing with vegetables. It turns out tender, yet nutritious. Unlike pearl barley, it doesn't overload the stomach. Therefore, pearl millet is a porridge that should definitely be added to the diet after 60. It nourishes without excess burden, supports the work of the intestines, heart, and brain. Most importantly, it helps live actively and calmly, avoiding feelings of heaviness and fatigue after meals. As for millet porridge, in the past it was considered a peasant dish. It is simple, inexpensive, but very beneficial for health. For older people, it can become a real medicine. Millet contains many minerals necessary for heart and vessel health. It helps remove excess fluid from the body, reducing swelling and strain on the heart. For those suffering from hypertension or kidney problems, this is especially important. Moreover, millet porridge helps cleanse blood vessels of excess cholesterol and improves liver function. This porridge contains many B vitamins that support the nervous system, as well as magnesium, which is necessary for peaceful sleep and strengthening the nerves. I remember one patient who was 69 years old. He suffered from constant swelling in his legs by evening, and his shoes became tight. We decided to add millet porridge to his diet twice a week. After a month, he reported that his legs felt lighter, he could walk longer, and he no longer woke up at night from the heaviness in his body. Millet is a light yet nutritious porridge. It does not cause sharp fluctuations in blood sugar levels, unlike corn or semolina porridge. Moreover, it provides a feeling of warmth and comfort. Many elderly people note that after a plate of millet porridge, their mood becomes lighter and their body more relaxed. It can be prepared in various ways with a piece of butter, milk, or pumpkin. Millet baked with pumpkin is especially delicious. It is sweet and very beneficial for the liver and kidneys. Therefore, I always recommend incorporating millet into your diet at least once a week. It's a simple habit that will give you lightness in your body, clarity in your thoughts, and support for your heart. Millet is the porridge that truly promotes an active life and improves quality of life after 60. Now that we have discussed which cereals to exclude and which to keep, let's put it all together in a simple plan for the day. After all, knowledge without action remains just theory, and our task is to turn healthy foods into a habit. Morning. The best way to start the day after 60 is with a plate of oatmeal or buckwheat. If your stomach is sensitive, choose oatmeal, as it gently envelops and provides calm energy. You can add some berries or an apple, as well as a teaspoon of honey. If you need more sustenance, buckwheat cooked in water with a piece of butter will be an excellent boost for the vessels and heart. I knew a woman, 74 years old, who used to eat only bread with butter for breakfast. She often experienced spikes in sugar and fatigue. When she replaced bread with oatmeal and an apple, she said, "I stopped feeling sleepy after breakfast and can now calmly attend to my tasks until lunch." During the day, barley porridge can be served as a side dish with fish or vegetables. It doesn't overload the stomach and provides a lasting feeling of fullness. If you are used to soups, a small portion of barley porridge will be a wonderful addition. The main thing is to forget about white rice and semolina porridge. One of my patients, a 70-year-old man, said that barley porridge became his lifesaver. After it, he feels strength, not drowsiness. Evening is the perfect time for millet porridge. It helps eliminate excess fluid, reduces swelling, and calms the body. Millet with pumpkin is especially good. It's sweet, nutritious, and very beneficial for the liver and kidneys. It's better not to eat corn porridge or white rice in the evening, as they can cause a sugar spike and disrupt sleep. So, a simple routine: oatmeal or buckwheat in the morning, barley porridge during the day, and millet with vegetables or pumpkin in the evening. This regimen does not require large expenses, but provides energy, tranquility, healthy vessels, and lightness in the body. Try it for at least a week, and you will feel the difference. Friends, we often believe that health is only about medications prescribed by doctors and expensive procedures. However, everything actually starts with small things, such as the type of porridge we choose for breakfast. Some, like semolina, white rice, and cornflakes, may appear light and healthy, but in reality, they drain our energy, causing sharp spikes in sugar and fatigue. Buckwheat, oats, barley, and millet can truly be helpers. They support heart, vessel, and intestinal health, giving us energy and lightness. Imagine that just 5 minutes a day to prepare simple porridge can transform your morning, improve your well-being, and even change your life. You will forget about constant fatigue, feel a surge of energy, and cope more easily with cold and illness. I understand that many of you may doubt, does it make sense at my age? But believe me, there is always meaning. Every day spent in health and activity is a priceless gift. So start tomorrow. Get rid of the porridges that harm your health and choose those that strengthen it. Give yourself a chance to feel the difference. Just 5 minutes a day, and you can give your body what truly works. Try it, and your body will surely thank you.